How's it going, guys? Hope y'all are doing well. So I've been getting some messages about this, asking me what I think. So we're just going to go ahead and make a video. And as of the time of the making of this video, anyway, this is all subject to change. But I'm going to go ahead and start by saying, guys, if you're watching this, chances are you don't know, okay? So we got to keep that in mind. We got to keep in mind that there's information games going on. We talk about it on this channel all the time. Information filter bubbles, echo chambers, and how that affects and shapes people's perspectives about reality. And I think that's what's going on right now, actually. So these drones are not a secret. This is not some covert mission. If it was, we wouldn't see it, right? So that's the first thing that stands out to me. The whole world is able to look at this. Somebody like myself would be able to go out and get a camera and take a video of these drones, right? And so for me right now, I'm not thinking that it's some super secret foreign government operation to come over here and just red dawn us, right? Like, I don't think that that's happening right now. Personally, I don't think that's happening. Now, people have come out and said, officials have come out and said that these things do not pose a threat. That's another indicator, right? They say that they do not pose a threat. How they know this while simultaneously saying they don't know where they come from and they don't know who they are, that's interesting, right? Then you have a representative that comes out and says they're coming from an Iranian mothership off the Atlantic Ocean. Okay, so that's another interesting thing, which I don't buy, by the way. I'm not ruling it 100% out, but I don't think I buy that. I think we would deal with that problem, or be dealing currently with that problem, and then you wouldn't see the drones anymore, right? If that was the case. However, I believe there's a reason for that being said, and we'll talk about that. So, you know, the subconscious mind has a hard time turning off that information once it's heard it. So once you say Iranian mothership, you know, the sky is falling and all this stuff, and that we should take them out. They're talking about we should take them out. Some people said that. So that's just a line of thinking that I think people are being led on purpose, whether it's real or not. And I'm not saying whether it is or not because I don't know. But we have to use discernment here. So they're being allowed to fly. If it was an enemy like operation, I don't believe that would be the case. I just don't believe that would be the case, okay? So that's just where I'm coming from. However, once you've said it, once you've said that thing, the seed is planted. Now, even if you take that off the table as being a fact, you know, and say, well, you know, that was actually not correct information, the subconscious mind of all the people that heard that is not going to process it that way. Okay, this is like, they play games with information, right? We've talked about the information bubbles before on this channel. So right now we're all in this particular information bubble where we're being exposed to this drone information. And there are drones. There could be manned aircraft in there too. We don't really know. The military has stuff we don't know about, guys. I don't know if this is news to you, but I mean, if you look back in history, you look back into, I don't know, say World War II era, right? There were things that were happening that people really didn't know about until they did, and when they did, it was world changing, right? So that's just the nature of things. It's how it works. There's a lot of information that we don't have, and there's a lot of technology that we don't know about, and it's you know, this is probably all governments have that to some degree. It's just how it is. Some corporations have that to some degree. Yesterday they came out with the news, was yesterday or the day before, about Google building a quantum chip, Willow, this thing. We'll talk about that. The implications are pretty far and wide, but all this stuff is coming out the way it is, and when it is, I believe, for a reason. Now, one theory that I have, if you want to hear a theory, I'll give you one. You should look up red team operations, or whatever you want to call it, but you look that up, you'll see. And it's basically like, if you look at a corporation or a bank or a military or anything really that has a security system, one way to test that is to actually send teams in to try to breach it, to try to see where the weak points are, and kind of war game things out. And this could very possibly be something like that. One thing that I've noticed that is coming of it, you have to look at the fruits, right? So one thing that's coming of it is that lawmakers are talking about something they probably should have talked about a long time ago. They're saying that there were gaps in authority. That's what they said. There's gaps in authority having to do with how these things are dealt with, meaning police, fire department, you know, all the way up to the military, government agencies, FBI, etc., right? Who's got the jurisdiction? What do we do in a scenario like this? If a foreign entity did come in with drones, swarming the streets or whatever, how are we going to deal with it? If they're looking at military installations and whatever, trying to get information, how do we deal with that? What do we do if we find out that that's what's happening? I think that's a valid line of thinking. It's something that probably should have been thought about before, and if it wasn't, that's not good. But if it is happening now because of this operation, whatever it is, I think that's a good outcome, and it might be part of the reason why they're doing it the way they're doing it. It's highly public. So but yeah, so as far as the drones themselves or the vehicles, whatever they are, now I think personally, at some point in time within the next 5-10 years, maybe longer, but you're going to look up and you're just going to see drones very frequently, especially if you live in the city. You're going to see drones all over the place. That's what I think. Security, you know, like law enforcement, surveillance type stuff, delivery, all kinds of reasons. Basically, there's going to be drones doing all kinds of work. That's something I think is going to happen. So it's kind of like a get used to it type situation. This might be one of those where we look up and we're like, oh, the drones are in the sky. And then, you know, you look up 10 years from now, it's going to look like that, but it'll be normal. Very possible. So they could be breaking us into that too, that reality that we're going to be living in, where there's going to be drones pretty much everywhere. But they're going to probably come up with some regulation. They're probably going to come up with some procedures, and that's probably not a bad thing. And that's one of the, I guess, the fruits that's going to come of this. Now, I'm not saying all of it's going to be good, because, you know, it's the government, and they might mess some things up for the regular people out here in this process, but hopefully not. Now, that's kind of the line of thinking that I have on this thing. I don't think it's the Iranians. I don't think it's the Chinese necessarily, although they probably have the capabilities to initiate some of this stuff. I think there would be a response that'd be a little bit more robust and probably a little bit more noticeable if that was the case. Now, there was an individual who had a drone, and he was looking at like a shipyard or something, and it did come out in the news recently, and the drone fell into a tree or something. The police were called. He was basically released, though. The drone fell out of the tree. They found out he had been taking pictures of all this sensitive material. Apparently he got like a plane ticket to California, and then like got a plane ticket to go back to China, and you know, they arrested him. I think that could be a case of also happening at the same time while being unrelated to, or it could be related. I don't know. Let me know what you think in the comments. But you know, things like that are happening. Definitely some strange things, of course, occurring, but you got to use discernment. I want everybody that listens to this channel to you know, kind of think along those lines, right? Don't just buy what you're being told. Could we be being invaded? I guess, but man, I don't believe it. I really think the response would be noticeable if that was the case. But you got people, officials even saying maybe it's time we just take these things out, right? You got people saying stuff like that, and maybe they want somebody to go off and do something like that, right? Maybe they do. I don't know why. I don't know why. Let me know in the comments why you think that would be. But I'll just say right now, as a civilian or whatever to another civilian, I don't think that's a good idea. I don't think that's a good idea to do that. So while they're saying that, I don't know. But yeah, there's a lot of conflicting and confusing reports having to do with this. I don't think it has to be that confusing. My theory is that it's us, or you know, some United States operation that we just don't have the need to know about, but the fact that it's public is part of the operation for whatever reason, and the response is probably also part of it, if I had to guess. But I could be wrong. I could be wrong, and we could be under attack, and it's the sky is falling. You know what I'm saying? It could be the aliens just acting like drones. I don't know, guys. Let me know what you think in the comments. Those are basically my initial thoughts on it. I have a lot of other thoughts on this topic, obviously. I'm always, you know, when these things happen, though, I wonder, why is this in the news? And I also wonder, what else is going on that we're not talking about because of this, okay? I know this is a big story, but everybody knows about it. It's not a secret. So wonder what's going on. Think about some things that might be going on that, you know, maybe we should be talking about instead. Maybe it's those quantum computer chips. I don't know. Let me know in the comments, guys. Want to hear your thoughts. I appreciate each and every single one of you. As always, till next time, I'm out.